shock as Su Kai and Tan Songyun involved in mysterious late-night incident. The city was alive with its usual buzz until an eerie silence took over a narrow lane just off the main boulevard. Witnesses say it all began with the screech of tires and a sudden flash of white lights cutting through the misty night. Su Kai and Tan Songyun had just wrapped filming for their upcoming series when their vehicle swerved sharply at a bend known for its chilling tales and urban legends. Locals gathered in disbelief as the black SUV halted inches from a crumbling street lamp that flickered like a heartbeat in panic. Su Kai was seen stepping out first, his expression unreadable, as if he had glimpsed something beyond understanding. Moments later, Tan Songyun emerged, her hands trembling not from fear, but something stranger. A street vendor claims the air grew cold like winter had swallowed the spring night. Another said he saw shadows moving without bodies shifting behind the pair as they looked around stunned and breathless. No injuries, no blood, yet something was clearly wrong. Neither actor has spoken to the media, but sources close to the production team say the two have taken a sudden break from filming. The studio remains tight-lipped, refusing to confirm or deny the incident. Speculation has exploded online, with fans piecing together security footage and audio clips that seem to capture a low static hum seconds before the vehicle stopped. Some believe it was a near accident, others whisper of a staged publicity stunt, but those who were there swear by what they saw and felt. Whatever happened that night, it was more than just a close call. It was an encounter with the inexplicable, and Su Kai and Tan Songyun were right at the center of it.
Stay tuned.
This story is only just beginning. It was just past midnight when the silence of the city's East District was broken by the sound of tires cutting hard across pavement. Not a crash, not a siren, but something sharper, something that sliced through the calm like a whisper from another world. What followed next left onlookers shaken, questioning what they had seen, what they had heard, and what might have followed. In the middle of it all were two of the country's most beloved stars, Su Kai and Tan Songyun, unknowingly pulled into a night that would feel more like fiction than real life. They had just finished a grueling night shoot for their newest drama, a story about fate and memory, oddly fitting in hindsight. They were being driven back in a sleek black SUV, windows tinted, music low, city lights blurring past like streaks of paint. The vehicle made its usual turn onto the quiet back lane near the river, a shortcut often taken by drivers to avoid late-night traffic. But what happened there was anything but ordinary. The road ahead shimmered. Not with rain. Not with heat. But with something else. A slight distortion in the air, like a pulse from beneath the asphalt. The driver slowed, uncertain. The hum began, faint at first, like a low vibration in the bones, not the ears. Without warning, the SUV's headlights flickered. The dashboard lit up in a sequence no one recognized. For a second, everything went dark. Then a white flash erupted so bright it lit the riverbank. In that instant, the car jerked left then right, as if dodging something invisible. It came to a violent stop just inches from a broken lamp post that had not stood upright in years. Witnesses say Su Kai was the first to emerge. Not running. Not panicked, but walking slowly, carefully, as if stepping into a space he no longer understood. His eyes scanned the area like he was seeing more than what was physically there. Tan Songyun followed moments later. She stumbled slightly as if gravity had forgotten her for just a moment. Her fingers were clenched around the door frame before she finally released her grip and looked upward. People began gathering. Some were silent, frozen. Others took out phones only to find their screens black. One vendor who had been closing his stall described the air turning dense, heavy, like water, like fog pressing into the skin. He swears he saw shadows dancing in the periphery, moving without motion, without form. Another man said time felt strange, like a minute had stretched into 5, or perhaps everything had stopped for a moment that the rest of the world missed. Neither star said a word. Su Kai stood still, eyes narrowed at the river as if listening to something distant. Tan Songyun turned her back to the car and looked behind her, not toward the people, but the alley. A place no one had noticed until then. Narrow, crumbling, and filled with a wind that had no origin. A security camera mounted above the scene captured fragments. Not the entire event, just bursts. A flash. The vehicle stalling. A moment where the figures of Su Kai and Tan Songyun appear slightly blurred, as if their images were caught between frames. Experts called in later could not explain the data corruption. The footage was unedited. Production on their drama has since paused. The studio refuses to give any reason, citing scheduling conflicts. Their management teams have denied any accident or incident, but both actors have been notably silent on social media. Not a single update. Not a single word. Speculation has gone wild. Some fans believe the pair witnessed something supernatural. Others suggest it was an experimental sound or electromagnetic test gone wrong. A few conspiracy threads have gone as far as claiming time distortion or parallel reality intrusion. But those who were there do not care for explanations. They remember the feeling. They remember the silence. They remember the way the city felt changed after that moment. Some say the streetlights in that area flicker at exactly 12:13 a.m. now. Others say if you walk that back lane in silence and close your eyes, you can hear whispers in the wind. As for Su Kai and Tan Songyun, their silence only deepens the mystery. Were they just in the wrong place at the wrong time, or had they been chosen by something they do not yet understand? Whatever happened that night will not be forgotten. Not by the city. Not by those who saw it. And certainly not by those who felt it. This is not just a story about two stars caught in an unexplained event. It is a story about what lies just beneath the surface of what we call normal. And that night, the surface cracked. In the days following the strange incident, the city refused to let it go. What had begun as whispers quickly evolved into headlines, podcasts, anonymous blogs, and amateur investigations. But it was not just speculation that fueled the fire. Something real had shifted, and people could feel it. Something hidden had slipped through, and the signs were everywhere. An old woman who runs a nearby tea house swore she saw Su Kai return to the site 2 nights later alone and cloaked in a long coat. She watched from behind her curtains as he stood in the same place where the SUV had stopped, unmoving for nearly 15 minutes. She claims he bent down and touched the pavement, then stood up quickly as if it burned. He turned and looked directly at her window, even though her lights were off and the curtains drawn. She has since refused to talk to reporters, but others confirmed seeing the actor at the same spot. A local boy posted footage online that shook the internet. Recorded on a handheld camcorder from his rooftop, the grainy video shows 2 figures standing in the alley behind the lamppost. One is clearly Tan Songyun. The other is not Su Kai. This second figure stands slightly taller, body blurred, features indiscernible, and moves with an unnatural grace. In the last frame, the figure tilts its head as if sensing the camera. The footage ends in a sharp buzz. The video was deleted within hours. The boy's account vanished. He has not responded to any messages since. Even more bizarre are the reports from the production crew. An anonymous staff member leaked that props from the show had been moved, altered, or disappeared entirely. Scripts were found rewritten with dialogue no one claimed to have written. One scene that had been filmed multiple times showed different outcomes when played back. In one version, Tan Songyun cries. In another, she laughs. In the third, she stares directly into the lens and whispers something no one can quite make out. An audio engineer quit abruptly after claiming the background recordings from that night held a strange sound under the dialogue. A low tone, like a voice, layered beneath. He boosted it. Slowed it down. It sounded like a countdown. Meanwhile, fans have started visiting the site nightly, forming a growing circle of silent watchers. They bring candles, strange symbols, drawings from the show, and hold hands at the minute the incident occurred. One night, several phones froze at the exact same time, screens going blank before rebooting with a new wallpaper. A photo none of the owners had ever taken. A foggy image of Su Kai standing at the river, with eyes that looked too sharp to be real. Journalists tried contacting both actors again. Their managers now respond with automated messages. The last public appearance of Tan Songyun was at a charity event days before the incident. When asked by a fan if she was all right, she simply smiled and said sometimes you need to forget something in order to survive it. Kai's brother was asked in an unrelated interview how his sibling was doing. He laughed nervously and replied that Kai was busy these days trying to stay in one reality at a time. The host dismissed it as a joke. But online, it was dissected frame by frame. This is no longer just a strange event. It is a pattern forming, a thread unraveling, a glitch repeating itself through people, places, and time. The story isn't about the accident anymore. It's about what was left behind in that car, in their minds, in the alley where no signal holds and no shadows fall the right way. They say actors live many lives. But what if one of those lives refused to let go? What if something they played on screen stepped off the page and followed them home? And what if they're not trying to escape it anymore? What if they are becoming it? The world is watching and waiting. This story is far from over. In fact, it may just be beginning again.